Moving in the nightlife. Dilly on my track and I feel alright.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, flesh vehicles, all sides of the globe. Welcome to the very first episode of Vibe Union Podcast. Can you believe it? Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that we are not the traditional owners of this land. We are recording on the Wurundjeri land of the Kulin Nation people. I'd like to acknowledge the leaders, past, present, and emerging. My name is Dilly Dave, and I am your soon-to-be beloved MC, co-host alongside Rye, aka Rhath, wave your hand, and Mash, aka M to the Q. Today we are joined by the OG Viber herself, Amutha.
Woo.
Remember to not only subscribe to this weekly podcast, but to explore Vibe Union's other offerings on our other platforms, mainly YouTube, but also Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud. I almost said SoundCloud, which is what we're not chasing. You know what I mean?
We're here for.
How we doing, crew? It's good to see. Here we are.
Hey.
Doing great,
Very
man.
good.
Doing great. Hey, just FYI for post, I was doing all these things so you can put all the like logos here and do some like magic stuff. It's been cool, man. Cool. Rolling off the back of that last vibration as well, just seeing the video work you've been doing, that's been sick. And a great job on D-Rad's release, on the video for that role model. That's cool.
Yeah,
You like that one?
That was
That
good.
was sick. Yeah, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Here I am, showered right off the bat, showered with praise.
Rightly so, man. Hope you brought your loofah.
Who's scratching who's back?
Hey, but yeah, we do. I know I'm doing well. I'm doing real well. Today was a nice and chill kind of day. Went out, got some sunshine finally, and just thoroughly enjoying myself. Like getting ready for this Fringe Festival show I got coming up. So just been writing, plugging away on that. That's been cool. But it's been cool, you know. The future's looking bright. There's a lot of scope for all kinds of new things coming along. And speaking of scope, Rye, I believe you've had a scope shoved down your throat.
Oh,
Yeah, have.
segue there.
If anybody knows me from any previous podcasts, I've got a history on podcasts of documenting in great detail the number of scopes / cameras on a long, weird, alien-looking stick shoved up or down any orifice that I've got on offer. And baby, I got some.
Do you think this comes from a lack of love towards the FPS genre, or
A lack of appreciation for the witch genre?
FPS, first-person shooter game genre? Do you think that's where this has come from? This is stemmed from?
Oh, for the scope.
Oh, right.
Come on, why would we try? I mean, why would we try?
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I'm not. I can offer weird medical tales, but wit is not really forthcoming from me, unfortunately.
I find that very hard to believe, but we'll accept it and move on.
That's a good first impression that the audience can have of you. All right, Rye's not our witty guy. He's our medical surgeries guy. We're just gonna get non-stop nightmare medical surgery tales from him.
Yeah, man.
Terrific.
The first couple of times were great. Got knocked out by the gas, and that was sick. But today was not the case. And those previous ones, those were unrelated to vocals or to music, so really not topical. But today, I had my vocal cords examined by a camera down my bloody nose. And if anyone's had a COVID-19 test, imagine that tenfold. It's exceptionally uncomfortable.
God.
It's awful. They numbed me up. They got me with a spray, which tastes appalling. Kind of tastes like really bad Contro, really, really bad, like orange liqueur
I love Contro.
that's been like left out in the sun with some in some swamp water. Sure, why not?
I probably wouldn't.
Yikes.
So yeah. But this time, yeah, they numbed me up, but I'm awake for this one. All the other ones, I was knocked out. I woke up knowing that something had happened, but didn't get to enjoy it. This time I got to enjoy it. This time I got it shoved down my throat, and I actually got to see the inside of my nose because they had the screen in front of me. So I got to see the inside of my nose, go back down to my throat, lit up like a Christmas tree, like the fucking 4th of July.
How are you not gagging the entire time?
I did when they went down the throat a little bit, and I gagged for sure there. But luckily the nose wasn't too bad. But I got to watch my vocal cords while I did vocal exercises.
Wow,
which was
that's incredible.
Yeah, it was interesting. looks kind of like, and this is not a great image, and I apologize. It kind of looks like an alien's vagina.
Yeah,
it's kind of what it is.
Totally. I totally can see that.
Yeah.
How can you guys
It's supporting.
Have you guys seen that?
I've seen some fan fiction of the film Alien, and it's yeah.
It was like that, except mine was pink and fleshy rather than black latex, and a guy in a suit.
I don't know. Which I prefer,
Anyway, vocal cords are good. They're all healthy. So they're
doing well. You're doing good. I'm glad, man.
Turns out,
yeah,
you go.
That's been bugging you for a minute. That's been going on for a little bit.
Yeah, there's some other issues. We'll figure it out. That's not really neither here nor there. But
stay tuned for future episodes. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow.
Yeah, this is going to be a long documentation of every medical procedure that I see fit to have, thanks to Australia's healthcare system that I can exploit in any which way I so choose. Until finally someone tells me that I'm a hypochondriac. Until that day comes, I'm racking up them numbers. Let's do it.
Keep pushing.
Do you get a badge at 25 scopes?
I don't think anyone's ever gotten there before.
They really need to talk to the Call of Duty team and figure out the reward system.
Bringing it back.
I tell you, the one thing though, it's weird to see it happening live. It's weird to see your vocal cords moving while you're making that sound, and like that's what's happening. You know that there's flaps of skin back there, and there's these chambers, and it's all like it's all just mechanical flesh and mucus doing some stuff, and that somehow makes this beautifully twangy Aussie voice that you hear before you. But to see it live, it takes some of the magic out of it. It's still like, oh, it's a thing. It's a thing that's happening. It's really
process.
Yeah. It's like pulling the curtain back. Very strange.
Do you think that you might be able to harness this technology to create more feedback about your own vocal techniques? Maybe being able to understand how to work them?
Oh, you know what? From my experience, vocal training, proper vocal training is about directing breath through your body. So you have different chambers in your body where the air resonates in. And if you can figure out how to send oxygen in different places, that's how you kind of... So I don't know if it's going to help to just see my flaps. That's the worst sentence I've ever said in my entire life. I hope no one takes that out of context.
You're getting live biometric information and a visual, and you can... Anyway, obviously I've overthought this.
I like where you're going. It's almost like a service you want to offer to people. Just rock up to people's places. Right. Hi, we're here from Esopha Photography, and we're going to show you your esophagus live. And
well, they did. They told me
do something with it.
That's basically what I'm doing.
Improve your vocal range.
I'm going in for doing vocal training because of this now, because they could actually because they play it back to me, and they said, okay, so here's the part where they had me going E, and they could see it fucking vibrating, and then they got me to just talk as well, and they said, all right, see how when you're talking your vocal cords are way shorter, you shrink them down, you tighten up, and turns out I have a lot of tension just when I'm talking. Way less the tension than when I'm singing, and it seems that like the tension and the strain is actually coming from just my normal speaking voice. And I think it's more down in my throat rather than forward. But when I'm singing, obviously I'm more aware of that. So you're pushing the energy to the front of your face.
That's incredible.
Yeah, wow. It's fascinating. And I learned some. If that was a service, I'd go back.
Journey of self-discovery.
Dang. This is kind of related and unrelated, but I thought it's relevant. So I have this thing called TMJ, which is like my jaw just slowly deciding it wants to move to another side of my face. So I was doing my research on it, and I was watching this video on YouTube of a guy who had hooked his whole face up to this electromagnetic thingy. They were about to send pulses into his face so it would relax the muscles. This guy has had TMJ for like 40 plus years. And so they did the thing. They did the muscle relaxant. You know what I'm trying to say. And he started crying, and I was like, "Oh God, guys, stop! He's in a lot of pain." And he wasn't crying from pain; he was crying from joy, because he's like, my face has been tensed for 40 years. And this is the first time in 40 years I've actually felt what it's like to relax my face. I was like, man, who knows how many problems like that we've got? Like how much tension and how much pain we're actually in. We're just unconscious now of it because it's like, oh, well, this is what I'm like every day.
So what's it called? TMJ?
TMJ.
Like for too much jaw or?
I think it's it's the connecting part of your jaw. For the life of me it's something joint. I remember. It's a big word.
Cool. I guess I was wrong.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's hectic. Have you found any sort of relief for yourself? Have you found ways of
meditation?
Okay.
Meditation helps because like I find that I slowly, like if I'm doing work and stuff, just unconsciously, I'll just start to like tense my jaw. And then I'll get to a point where I have to remind myself, hey, what's going on with your face? I'll stop, I'll do some breathing, and then I'll relax my face. And then that's helped a lot. But then I can't control what happens overnight when I'm sleeping. So I've tried to meditate before sleeping, but that's a whole nother thing. You can't control what you do in your sleep.
Yeah.
No.
Or can you?
Some people train for that.
You can actually, for sure you can.
I bet you
That's all I'm trying to say.
Interesting.
If
though.
Connor was here, he'd give us a couple.
He'd talk about lucid dreaming. Yeah. He's watching this right now. Like, guys, get me on there.
Yeah.
It's my moment.
But it's isn't it frustrating that you can go down every road, you can try and find the answers to any little problem, and there's always in the back of your head, there's always that that nagging idea that like, I might just be stressed. I might just be stressing out. Almost every goddamn little problem you can have.
It, man. It's like stress accounts for like 80% of like just all the fucked up stuff that happens in your body. Cancer, all that stuff. A lot of it can be accounted for stress. And then from stress stems like frustration, anger, all these different other emotions. And like those emotions, like certain chemicals get released in your body, narcotics. That's why you get addicted to negative emotions. So they release narcotics into your body. That affects your body in different ways. That's why different parts of your body get affected based on like different emotional reactions you have to stuff.
Yeah.
This is not music relevant at all, but it's life relevant. So
it's so life relevant.
Isn't music life and life is music? I think it's all
that's it.
It's hard to like. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to write something if I was stressed. Like write music, like write bars or lines or whatever. I'd be like, no, I got to tend to other stuff. Like
yeah.
So I reckon it definitely stress is the thing that a lot of people don't really put to the forefront of like things that I have to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
They just kind of think it's out of their control.
I guess people don't see it as a problem.
Well, that's
people don't realize how much of a problem it is.
Well, we fetishize it. I think we romanticize it. Like we idolize it. It's
Stress
a thing in
and
society
anxiety,
that's like that's. Man, if you're not stressed, then you're living wrong. You're not going to succeed. Your success comes through pain and suffering, and that pain and suffering is usually sleepless nights, or rather, just you don't have time to sleep. You're at the desk all the time, preferably a standing desk, just doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
I think,
the
pain and suffering is a fundamental to life, and should be noted that it will forever be, and is unmovable and universal. So. I think it like lies in a separate lane than the glorified stress, anxiety, neuroticism. Yeah,
Yep.
That's how I kind of think about it. Like, if you think that you're going to try and remove things like pain and suffering from life, they're the most real and most true things in your life. Yeah, aside from love, I would say. But
yeah.
But they shouldn't be your driving force. I think.
Yeah.
Those are kind of external things that you need to be able to. Those are kind of moments when you just need to be. I learned this very young. I remember when I started getting into spiritual teaching. This was only like a year ago. I started getting into spiritual teaching, and that was one of the big ones. Was talking about just accepting when you have pain, you just accept it, and often the body will suddenly that pain threshold will drop so much. You'll be like, all right, cool. I know it's there. I can still feel it. But I've accepted it, and so it's not. There's not the emotional component to it as well that does cause an extra layer of physical pain. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, boom, Jedis did that. That's where I learned that first and foremost.
Hell yeah.
So they get through that. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, it shouldn't be a driving force, but it's
it's part of the equation for sure. And I think you're right. It's the way that you deal with it. So instead of having resistance, you have like awareness. And I think it's a great build up.
Yeah, it's your perception of that pain, how you choose to receive it.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Well, that sounds like a great moment of teaching that we have given to our listeners and our viewers, or however you're consuming this. So what a great segue! What a great a bookmark or a bookend to that little chapter.
And welcome to another spiritual podcast.
Oh man, we needed another one.
Sam Harris wasn't doing it for me. Russell Brand was a little bit too sort of all over the place, bit wishy-washy, ain't it?
Hey, don't talk smack about my boy Russell. I love him.
Oh, excuse me. All right, all he's ever waffling on about is the dialectic and the discourse, and really it's just a matter of two people who've believed the same thing, but believe themselves to be believing different things, and it's in that dichotomy that conflict exists. And that conflict is actually just a manifestation of this samsara of existence, when actually we should all be striving to get to nirvana instead.
Yeah, I'm sold.
I love him. I actually really love him.
You can't make fun of someone like that without proper appreciation.
Yeah, my ScoMo is horrible.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Who does it? I don't even know what he sounds like. I can't picture ScoMo's voice.
He's so unmemorable, I find.
Yeah. That's his whole...
It's working for him. It's a good... Yeah.
We're not going from...
Spirituality and politics. Yeah, the music group that could.
This is every single music podcast or artistic podcast out there in the world. Is we're going to talk about art and talk about music, and then they just get down to the weeds of it. This is all what's the meaning of life? Why are we here? What we're here for is a topic that we have pre-prepared.
I think it's a good segue to announce why Vibe Union is here and what Vibe Union is for those who do not know.
Absolutely.
Only 20 minutes in.
It's perfect. It's when you get into those existential questions, you ask yourself, why are we here? How do we get here? And I guess we're going to understand that a little bit. So in terms of a little bit of context, we all had met each other around the traps, around the haunts of the Melbourne underground, open mic, hip hop and alternative kind of music scene. And that was, through the end of 2019 and into 2020. And in that meeting, we were like, in amongst that, hey, we got to get together. We got to make this a real thing. And from January, catching up and having a weekend of creative, bouts of creativity and making new music.
The jam.
It was a great jam, fantastic times. We got to probably around March is when we were like, let's do this in earnest. Let's make some music together. So we start sending each other stems back and forth. And before we know it, we've got a song, then we've got another song, then we've got another song. Pardon me.
There we go.
I just get really emotional thinking about how we started, about the baby steps. And and here we are suddenly, April 3, that was our first release. And now here we are, September, 24, 25 makes Vibration 20 28 today. Or any date on which you're consuming this.
Right.
But here we are, 20 singles released, and it feels pretty incredible. We've worked with 15, 16, 17 different artists through the year, and that's all been during lockdown. So in one way or another, we've actually had movement limited, gatherings restricted, and we've managed to be doing that. And it's pretty exciting to be able to say that. I feel really proud of myself. I feel proud of the group and the collective and what we've been able to do. And I think it'd be awesome for us for our first episode to actually reflect on that a little bit and how have we worked as individuals to make that happen as a collective. So Rye, I want to throw it over to you and see what you've got to say on that matter and what your process has been like.
Sure. Well, I'll kick it off by saying, and as soppy as this is, I might have to hold back a torrent of tears. I do apologize. But this is everything I've ever wanted, baby. This is everything I've ever needed. This is we're all solo musicians first and foremost, as I think most artists in this day and age are. We can all do it on our computers. We can all just record our own vocals and mix it and put it out there, and it's great. But it lacks the community, and we're all social creatures, and we're also all egotistical. So we all want to have all the people that we look up to in the community praise us, give us pats on the back, and say, "Good job, mate. You're doing great. You're doing real good."
Hey.
And so I think this is in terms of how I've been working, this has been the best possible opportunity for me. And I hate to say it, it's been a rough year for a lot of people, but I have been very fortunate that I got to take advantage of that, of just like, well, I'm in lockdown. I don't have a job because I worked in hospitality and there's no one to serve. So I got fired day one. I was a casual staff, so I was out the door. But luckily you guys were there and we were bloody able to, I went full time. I went 9 to 5. I was putting in those hours of just like, cool, music it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from this time and from this whole scenario with us is that, well, once again, for me, COVID has been an opportunity to take stock of what's important, what's the most important. And as I was just saying, I can make music by myself and I have done for a while, but there's always this underlying depression and there's always this underlying doubt of like, man, I'm not really, where am I heading? What's the next step? And I worry far less about the next step, about leveling up now. I mean, I'm excited for Vibe Union to keep growing, and that's what we are doing. But to just be able to have a track out with your mates every week, it's so much more gratifying. And that made me realize that like that's been the missing link for the entire my existence on this planet.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. What about you, Amutha? How's this experience been for you? And would you do it again?
Oh my gosh.
Ask that question.
So, I couldn't say I would do it again, only because I've done it already. I've had the experience, and that's all good. I would say that, like, definitely. I want to echo what Ryan said.
Did you call me Ryan? Are you kidding me?
I did. I'm sorry. I have a few friends called Ryan. I got confused for a second.
That's the problem. Everyone's called Ryan. I'm bringing it.
I mean, Ryan is okay. Let's just not get into it. It's going to be a huge debate.
Man.
It's the most worked up I've seen Ryan in a long time.
So basically, like, I had the same experience of just like starting on this path of music and feeling so lost and overwhelmed and like kind of isolated, and having a group, especially during this period, has been such a godsend. Like being able to, like, even just actually what I do sometimes if I'm like that uninspired is I'll go onto our like group chat and I'll just listen to different beats just to get different sounds in me of things of people that like I know are working on. Like that's really cool. Like you guys, I know you guys and the stuff that you're working on. Like I'll just listen to that. I'll go and I'll listen to our Vibe Union tracks. I go back all the time and listen to the Vibe Union tracks. So like it's just so inspiring to know I'm a part of this. And I think like I said, wouldn't do it again, but so grateful I got to do it with you guys.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dilly, you're shaking your head. You're clearly taken aback by the emotions that's being thrown around. What's your response? What is your heart telling you right now?
My heart is telling me.
Huge jug.
Plunger.
French press anybody?
What?
Straight out the bottle. Damn, you a gangster.
Put it down.
Boy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vibe Union for me, I guess like, and I think a way I've articulated it before is like, it's when you get to do a group assignment or project at school and you get put with all your friends and like the topic of exploration is enjoyable or interesting. So for me, it's like, and I think Amutha touched on this as well, like limitations, like what are my limitations, right? So earlier this year, right? Like my limitations was I was a solo artist. I could only do so much in terms of post-production, production myself, especially when it comes to beat making and that kind of stuff. I was limited to that. I was limited by my own like emotions, neuroses, my own like workflow and habits and all that kind of stuff. And what Vibe Union's really done is I broke this down. So network is funny because like when you separate the words, it's like net and work. And that's like what we've been doing. We've been working on the net since April, start of April, right? And
that works. That makes sense. Yep.
And for me, like the net is almost like the net worth, and the net is like the crew. And I find things pretty hard to do unless I'm with a crew, honestly, like whether it's like work or whatever it is. Even when I play computer games or sport, I prefer team games, really. But for me, this has actually like greatly enhanced my capacity to make stuff. Which was one of the things that really, really gave me a lot of happiness in my life and still does, obviously. So I think like when we started this, we kind of knew each other. Like we only kind of knew each other. We were like, it wasn't just we knew of each other. We'd hung out a couple of times, seen each other at a couple of events, gone to some open mics. Like we were friends at that point. So for us to take the next step and then somehow for it to work out where we've all got like these individual traits or capacities that like others in the group may not have. It's just like when you find a team that's so complementary in terms of work process. I feel like this has been a part-time job since April, but like the best one I've ever had,
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
And the lowest paid.
The lowest paid by a long shot.
Definitely. I mean,
So far in the red.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of the school bully that used to beat me up for my lunch money. That never happened. I'm an Australian kid, so that doesn't really happen, I guess.
I didn't have lunch money.
Or you give us your lunch order.
Yeah, lunch order. That's what we do.
Lunch order. It's taking me back.
orders.
It's taking me
Oh,
back.
amazing.
One other play on the word net is also the biggest one for me, which I think is something that really ties this all together as well, is being a solo artist. And oh my god, this ties into the stress thing as well. You're always expecting yourself to be everything and anything that is needed at any given time. You have to be you have to be the whip, you have to be the drive, you have to be the hands toiling in the dirt. You got to do it all. You got to fucking build this up by yourself. And you also at the same time have to keep telling yourself that you deserve any of it, that you are capable of it, even though there is no support a lot of the time. Which is, oh, woe is us. It's so hard being honest. So,
Right.
But like that is such a hard line to not fall behind a lot of the time, and a big part of Vibe Union. And I think this is just for any crew that anyone gets to be part of. And so this is a big promotion for people to find some people like this. It's your safety net as well, because you suddenly realize that like, cool, I'm doing the mixing today, but if I had to do the video production as well and get it out there online, it probably just would not happen. And also on those days that you are not feeling it, you do what Amutha does, and you go in there, you listen to those beats, and you see that other people are working. And also just being able to put out the number of times that I've just put in a message to everyone being like, hey, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it today. I'm really down. How's everyone else feeling? And everyone usually reciprocates. Everyone's like, yeah, man, I'm kind of feeling the same. And just being in that bubble with the other artists who also go through those dips, it's always like, cool. So even if we all dip, we've all got the bases covered still. Because if I dip by myself, I can't do it all. But if we all dip together, we've still got those bases covered. And then when we're all on the up and up, we can do anything.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like Vibe Union's the support group for recovering creatives.
And then just enables the crap out of us to be even more creative. It's a good thing it's not a crippling addiction.
Exactly.
Depending on how you choose to read that. That's a fantastic chat. I really appreciate that. Amutha, I really dug what you said about drawing inspiration. I think between what each of you has said, we've kind of drawn out what has made this quite a successful undertaking on each of our parts, and how it's benefited each of us individually. I really dug that idea of being able to draw inspiration from one another. I think that wasn't that wasn't necessarily my mindset about my contemporaries, especially as a solo artist. It's almost seeing as everyone as competition, and now suddenly everyone's a collaborator. Everyone here is, and I can jump on and listen to a beat the likes of which I would never have engaged with otherwise, and I'm suddenly like sparking to write 8, 16, 32 hot bars just for the sake of it, you know, not even for the final product, but just because. And yeah, and between that, we also spoke about like the accountability of it, like the benefits of being in that group situation and being able to rely on one another to keep ourselves on task and keep ourselves honest. I think is really important because, you know, we play these little ego games with ourselves where we lie to ourselves about where we're at. I'll get it done tomorrow. Okay, you do not. You are very hard on yourself. That's very true, good sir. I have the least ego of anyone. Ask anyone. Absolutely. Oh no, it's all falling apart over here. So I really. Oh my lord! All right, this is gone. Pull back the curtain to reveal that the world outside is beautiful. But yeah, so I really enjoy that. But I think it'd be nice to talk about for anyone that's thinking of getting themselves into a situation like this, either finding themselves in some kind of a forced lockdown, either externally or potentially personally imposed. I'd quite like the idea of sort of taking a seance somewhere and just isolating for a month, 2 months, and getting your shit done. But I just wanted to put out there, what are some of the things that we've found challenging in this time? And Rhath, you touched on that a little bit. There's a sense of sort of stress or I guess malaise that kicks in. But I want to hear from everyone. What have been the things that you just didn't anticipate? And what are the things that have challenged your instincts, both being in a collective in this time, but also just being an artist during lockdown?
I think the mundane, the repetitive nature. Lockdown, this is more specifically lockdown, but I think especially trying to be creative in that space, you're in Groundhog Day. You're going through the same day every single day, and that takes a toll on the mind. And also, I think that's also probably that probably plays into the that could probably be experienced in other times. If you're working constantly, which what we have been doing, like when I was doing the 9 to 5 and sometimes it was just, I was working every single day on Vibe Union stuff. As much as that's great, it also, you get into such a repetitive nature that you haven't lived any life to put into your art and you just kind of lose perspective. You just need to take that step back. And being in lockdown, it's really hard to separate any parts of your life. Your bed and your desk are within a foot of each other. You go to the kitchen to cook food, and then you probably bring it back to your desk like I do, and I watch movies and YouTube on my computer that is my work computer. And so having your entire life shrunk, and also my social space. I'm drinking beers right now, talking to you guys. I do the same with my friends. Not that you guys aren't my friends. You know, my friends that aren't part of Vibe Union. That's not what I meant. But yeah, so every little part of my life is this desk. That is it. And then I sleep at the bed. And that's if I haven't passed out in my desk chair. So it could all be right here on my desk. I think that's a really weird space to be in. And that's been the weirdest challenge to get through. Yeah.
Amutha?
I could jump in. So I think that this is related to the stress thing of being so aware that you're in isolation, you got nothing to do but work, so you better work. And then putting that constant pressure every single day of, hey, you've got to be on your grind because you got nothing else to do, man. And when are you ever going to have time like this? This is crazy. Like, people are going to be calling you out. You got to do the work. And I think that for me, I got caught in a bit of a trap with that. And that just put on so much pressure. And I only recently, and when I say recently, I mean probably within the last couple of weeks, actually became okay with not working constantly. And actually taking some time off and being like, okay, if I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, I need to take that pressure away, and I shouldn't feel bad about going for a walk. I shouldn't feel bad about just sitting out in the garden. I think that's like a lot of guilt tied to that as well. And I think that that's a good thing to say just on even a regular day, even when you have the option to work, but you're not feeling it. Don't put the pressure on yourself to work. Like, if you don't feel like doing it, go and do something else, because it means that you need to get yourself prepared to do the thing. That's what I've realized. Like, if I'm feeling uninspired, it's because I need to go out and find that inspiration to do what I need to do. And it will always come, but I got to give it time. It's like a little baby that's kind of forming in the womb.
Well, Ryan, you said it really well in terms of I'm not living any life to put into my art.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good line.
There's no input source, right? Like if you're just doing the same thing, seeing the same thing, you know, over and over. And I guess you go.
As I said before, realizing what's the most important in your life, and for me, I think it is for humans in general, because we are social creatures. It's a sense of community, and yeah, you can be introverted. Like I think I'm quite introverted in the sense that I do feel very energized by being alone and taking the time. So for me, lockdown's actually kind of perfect because I get to play single player. Unlike Dilly, I get to play single player video games and just thrive in that space. Like I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to think about anyone. If anyone's coming into my game, I'm kicking them out. This is my experience, and I really like that. But it also made me realize, like, damn, I need some socializing. I need to see some people. I need to talk to people. For me, it might be a bit more brief. I know, Mash, that you identify more as an extrovert. But not even having that little bit, not even having the trips to Barusu for a couple of nights a week, getting into the open mic.
So missed.
That's everything. That makes you want to work the next day. And with not having that, is where do you find it in yourself? You have to dig so deep, and maybe do lie to yourself. Maybe do lie that there's some energy there where there just isn't at the moment. Yeah.
Emkew,
Dilly.
What about you, Dilly?
No, you go.
Oh, what about me? Oh, no.
Spin this on you.
Okay. I rate it. I think I very much suffered from the same concept of, you know, I came into this lockdown period. I just quit my job and was like, I'm going to make music work for me. And I'd lined up actual paid work. I'd lined up opportunities, and I had this plan, you know, this strategic vision for how I'm going to market myself and put myself out there and do all these things. And Vibe Union was a piece of that puzzle at best, you know. I don't know how much time I can give to this.
Yeah.
And then out goes the paid work, out goes the opportunities, out goes the networking. There's nowhere to go meet anyone. And I was like, okay, well, I've got all these templates and daily plans and everything. I got to stick to them. And I did that, you know, 40 days, like in a row, back to back, wake up Sunday. There was no such thing as a Sunday. There was no weekends. Like, we don't need that. I'm putting in 5 hours a day as opposed to I used to do 8 hours at a full-time job. So 5 hours a day across 7 days, that's fine. I'm still working less. And then out of nowhere, this just fatigue hits. And I was derailed, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where I couldn't do anything. I couldn't muster anything. I wanted to be a potato. I wanted to be nobody, doing nothing. And when I was able to deconstruct that, it was very much about this expectation. And it was actually, what was actually happening was I was compounding that laziness. I was compounding that stress by then getting stressed about the fact that I'm not doing the work. And that's the real killer. In my opinion, like, my experience was definitely that I was not only feeling bad about lazy, and I was not only feeling bad about being very run down and stressed out, which is a real thing. You can be stressed out living just in your own home. But then I was getting real shitty at myself about it. That was real bad. I think something that I'm really grateful for is that I've had my own space, you know, having this room and it not be my bedroom. This is my studio. That's definitely helped me in a major way to separate those things. So, you know, I can then decide, all right, daughter's studio is closed. I'm not working today. And that helped me kind of change that mentality, you know. Initially it was an avoidance thing, and then over time it was like, I'm making a conscious choice to enter this room and work, and then, you know, keep my phone out of it and things like that, keep distractions at bay. But in the short term, it was very much that workaholic sort of mindset, and then beating myself up about it that really set me back, I feel like, from growing and from feeling good about myself, which is integral, I feel, to creativity.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
If your esteem and self-worth isn't up there, then you're not going to be in the mood to create. And if you are, you're going to be, I guess, talking some dark stuff, which, you know, is good to exercise, but not always desirable.
Not if what you're going for.
We've touched on it a lot, though, over this season.
Oh, yeah.
6 months of talking a lot about lockdowns and these kind of things in our music. So it's been good. That's another great thing. Is what a great outlet we've had.
Well, yeah, I think it really ties back, like for me to summarize, because we're kind of talking about challenges we've faced in this time with Vibe Union. And like, I guess, you know, in the period of isolation, one of the challenges is, you know, the social aspects, which I think Ryu touched on. And it's been actually super nice just to have people to talk to who are experiencing very, very similar things. But yeah, I think communication has really been key to us doing anything. Not only like, I'm not just talking about like planning and scheduling, but like, are we making sure that we're on the same page and feeling similar things? You know, if one of us in isolation is feeling resistance to something, but is somehow able to like communicate that with the group, then we can, you know, work with that and around that. And, you know, relating back to the burnout periods that I guess we've all experienced, like, you know, I think what I found with Vibe Union is you through that first season, like we really figured out how to work smarter, not faster, even in the first few weeks or month, right? Like we figured out to continuously improve all of the processes and workflows and things that we have to make this experience of making stuff with Vibe Union to be like as seamless as possible as it can be as a creative endeavor with a whole bunch of people on board. And yeah, it's something that I probably wouldn't have been able to, like, I would not have created as much stuff as I have, you know, since April if I was just doing my own stuff. I probably might have just had a break, to be honest. I might have just been like, oh, fuck it, you know, what's even the point, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been nothing but thankful and blessed for my time here at Vibe Union, and this isn't my departure speech or anything. I'll be hanging around for as long as I can.
I think that's pretty much the summary of all of it is where would any of us be through lockdowns creatively and just emotionally as human beings without this kind of community? And I recognize that like we're so lucky, we're so privileged that we had the foundation set up just in time for this. I really count myself lucky for that.
Super lucky.
But yeah, it's been amazing. But I think COVID has been it's still going to be a challenge for a lot of people, especially people in other countries. So, but COVID has been and will continue to be a fascinating study into the way we work, to the way we communicate, to the way we interact with each other, and to our purpose. I think just to what we value the most in our lives. So I'm kind of grateful as much as I recognize that like I'm on such a privileged side of this year. It's been
Right, if you say privilege one more, I'm going to cut your line.
Oh man, sorry. I'll get my thesaurus out for next episode. I'm very sorry about that.
Maybe you can replace it with white guilt or something.
Well, what a fun time! I think we covered it. I think we've delved into the depths of despair that we've all felt through COVID and what we've learned, and that's exciting. But we're kind of sort of out on the other side. Maybe, who knows?
We see the light. The light at the end of the tunnel is there.
Yeah, stay vigilant, but we're ready to move on at this point. Now we've been joined this entire time by the lovely Amutha, as we already know. But Amutha, you're insanely creative and you do so much stuff. So we figured this would be a great opportunity for you to give us a taste. What's going on? What are you working on at the moment? What do you want to showcase? What are you excited about? What are you really passionate about
I am excited about a lot of things. I'm working on a lot of new music. But I think that, you know, like I just had this feeling as soon as you said that to me. I was like, you know, I want to do a little live performance. I have a song.
Hell yeah.
That I've only ever done without a beat because half a year ago, my hard drive smashed. I lost everything. And one of the songs I lost, I was so in love with it. And I just haven't been able to recreate that sound. Not that I don't really want to either, because I think it's got its own place in history. But I do like to occasionally whip it out and do a little bit of a cappella. I'll bring my shaker out, actually.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So, can I take it away?
Yeah, we're doing
Good
a
to go?
live in the studio session for the first
Okay,
episode.
live session.
Kick it.
All right. Yeah, beauty, I tell you every time I got nowhere to be. And you tell me that you're doing fine. I got no way to see. Yeah. And soon all will crash down on us. Oh, what misery. And yeah, we're falling down, oh, calling round for just a little sense of peace. Yeah. Pilgrims through this thunderstorm, I can't catch you when you're sleeping. Tell me that you'll go tonight. I'll wait for you in the deep end. Hold me tight, don't let go. We might not lose ourselves when we leave now. Yeah, the storm is coming on. So just promise you'll make it right. But we're slipping away, you're slipping away, I'm slipping away, just slipping away tonight. Breathe in life to the depths of your being. I'm foreseeing that you're stuck in the past. And though you're tripping in and tripping out, I wanna know what you are about. Yeah. Swallowed in the vacuum. Can you tell me why we're rushing? Hoping now we'll see us again. I don't know why you're talking, telling you that I can't breathe in this, and you're telling me no, don't go. I need you in my life to keep me going. Come on, see me as you are. Want you to catch my fall. I drift away on a dream when you can't see. It's a dream. You're a dream, I'm a dream. There we go.
That was the most Amutha way to handle that segment, and the most beautiful way we could kick off the first episode, or to bring home the first episode of the VU podcast. That was incredible. And
Thank you guys.
What a gift. What a gift you've given to the listeners.
Be it or no, the Shakers really do give that a sense of a journey as well as a song. It's delightful. It's like a train just moving continuously.
That's so sweet. I like that imagery.
But yeah, the sparseness, like getting to hear you sing a cappella is wonderful. Like you do amazing harmony work, obviously on the track and with production, but just your voice here, that was a treat. I'm on behalf of all the listeners, I'm sure, who've just stopped doing whatever they were doing. Like, thank you.
And if they want more,
thank you.
If they want more, where are they going to find you?
They're going to find me no, I was about to give my address as a joke, and I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't do that.
Nice story.
Self-docs.
You can my favorite account is my Instagram. I like to fuck around on my Instagram. So it's my name, Amutha, so AMUTHA.vibes. If you find me there, then it will just take you on a little branch out to other avenues that I've touched on.
Cool. And all the links to everything Amutha's got going on is in the description of wherever you find this, as well as the links to our socials, Vibe Union, where we are posting new tracks almost weekly. We're taking a break for 2 weeks, but that's all right because we're regenning our batteries, ready to come bigger, badder, and stronger than ever before.
Oh yeah!
Season 3.
Gotta say, the beats that we've got going on for the next season are
if that ego,
so tasty.
If that ego that I don't have would speak for a second, what I'm producing at the moment is fire, and I'm very excited for the next season.
I believe that.
Oh yeah.
My Discord inbox is filled of Rhath giving me all that I could want and more for my very upcoming EP. But by very, I mean like in a very long time.
Don't leave them waiting. No, sorry, I got more beats to make for you anyway. Anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in. This has been episode 1 of a potentially infinite podcast that may never end.
Perpetually infinite's better, I think. Perpetually
Infinite.
I like that. Perpetually infinite.
We're going to be doing this weekly, hopefully, as far as we plan. So stay tuned. We've got music coming out all the time. Tune in, like, comment, hit the bell, send this episode to your grandma because I know she's going to love this content. She'll tune in and she'll have her eardrums are going to enjoy the sweet
You're going to burst because there's
sound of
no
her
old,
voice.
and she won't be able to hear the rest of it. But yes, continue to your grandmothers across the globe.
And just peace out. Take some time amongst all this chaos of 2020. You need it. You need it to regen. You need it to find yourself. Take note of what's most important in your life and bring it home, baby. That's my message.
Bring it home, baby.
That's beautiful.
Bring it home, baby.
Bring it home, baby.
Peace.
It's a jam. It's a riot. Thanks for the times, homies.
Cool. Peace out, everybody. Outro music.
Cruising in the nightlife, Dilly on my track and I feel alright. Cruising in the nightlife.